Hi, it's Kiffin Lobates here, CTO of Artima, and what I want to talk about today is the thorny question of patents and blockchain. Now, blockchain had its origins in open source collaboration, and therefore there are a lot of people out there who are living under the misguided idea that because it's open source and because it was initially collaborative, that this industry is not going to be affected by patents. And I'm afraid to tell them that they're wrong. Patents have been around for a long time. They're even in the first basic section of the United States Constitution. They've got that kind of history in the US. And there have been plenty of examples of technology industries which started out as open, collaborative, academics sharing ideas, get it out there, explore it and see where it goes kind of businesses. And then, well, not businesses, research projects, then they turn into businesses. Then the businesses start making money. And then eventually you start seeing patent wars where different parties start claiming particular areas of technology that have proven to be profitable and start enforcing their patents, either looking for licenses, sometimes suing for infringement, other times having cross-licensing deals. And we've seen this in many industries. So we've seen it, for example, in the telecoms industry. That was quite a battle in when they you may remember the litigations between Apple and Samsung and Qualcomm and companies like that. We've also seen it in streaming, which initially started off as a collection of open source protocols and ideas, and then settled down to become actual businesses and profitable. And again, patents became significant. And possibly the most obvious one, the World Wide Web. Again, initially completely open project, open standards, anybody could muck around with it, and now it's the bedrock for some very valuable companies out there, and those companies have large patent portfolios and they're not afraid to use them. Now, back in the sort of 2013 to 2020 era in blockchain, people used to note that various companies like IBM and Bank of America were patenting blockchain ideas, and they actually thought this was good because it proved that there was corporate interest in blockchain technology. I happen to think that interpretation was a bit misguided. It's not the way how large innovation projects not large projects, it's not the way how innovation works in businesses. They generally have these policies where, as an employee, you can submit an invention idea, you get a bit of a cash bonus, patent review board decides whether or not it's novel and worth pursuing, and then they go and get patents on it. But it's not particularly strategic. It's just they put aside some budget to do this in the hope that they'll build up enough of a patent portfolio that something in there at some point in the future may either be defensively useful or indeed useful in litigation. And now I do think we've reached the point where there are actively targeted patent strategies out there among some of the more established companies. I think you'll find in some of the more recent companies that have sprung up and made quite a killing on blockchain that their patent strategies are not so well refined, and as a result they're going to be in for a shock sometime in the next 2 to 5 years, because that's when I predict that you'll really start to see suits, patents, infringement suits and patent licensing requests to appear for significant sums of money. So of course there wasn't any activity 5 or 8 or 10 years ago because there just wasn't much value in the system at that point, and there wasn't therefore much to gain by launching such a suit. But now we're at the point where there are entities out there worth tens of billions or even more in dollars, and therefore they need to be thinking very seriously about their patent strategy, because there will be companies wanting to have a conversation with them about issues of infringement. So it's going to mark a change in the blockchain industries. Some people will not be happy about it, but the fact is that this is how it has always gone. You've seen this time and time again in the industry, And blockchain is not going to be any different from the rest of them, because the world has not changed that much since, for example, the big telecoms boom, the big internet boom, and the big PC boom. So that's today's video on patents. I hope you found it interesting. Leave any questions in the comment if you'd like me to talk a bit more about some of the issues I've raised in this video, and I will quite gladly address them in a future video. Bye for now.